let's talk about some spoilers. To recap really quickly, holy crap, Star Wars Episode 7 happened. I loved it. Some people didn't. Those people can... I don't care. There's so much I liked about this movie, there's some stuff I didn't like about this movie, and I just need to make an entire video where I don't have to worry about ruining it for anybody else, just to get it all out of me. For starters, I love Kylo Ren as a villain. He is so interesting to me in so many different levels. In some ways, he's an inversion of Luke Skywalker, almost. Luke, the son of a Sith Lord, the last Jedi who was tempted by the dark side but ultimately rejected it in the name of the light and declared, I am a Jedi like my father before me. That guy over there, whose hand I just cut off and is like all asthmatic and stuff. Kylo Ren, or as we now know him, Ben Solo, was very much the opposite of that, though. Not born to a Jedi per se, but still born to a Force-sensitive family, but eventually turned to the dark side and now feels tempted by the light. Like Luke refused to kill his father in order to stay true to the Jedi code, Kylo felt that he had to kill his father in order to fully become a dark side guy. Are they still called Sith? And like Luke wanted to be just like his father, except, you know, before he turned evil and killed a bunch of children, Ben wants to be just like Darth Vader, but he's afraid he never could be. He's a really interesting villain. People were wary when they heard that he was basically a huge Darth Vader fanboy, but they make it work. He's kind of an entitled brat, and as much as he wants to be Vader, he's not. There's that moment where the guy comes to Kylo and he's all like, yeah, we goofed up. And I'm thinking, oh, is this gonna be a force choke moment? Because Vader would have force choked the crap out of that guy. Kylo doesn't. He whips out his lightsaber and just wails on stuff. I like the parallel there, but also the divergence. And oh my gosh, the moment where Han dies. You see him, see Kylo going to the bridge, and I'm like, oh man, I heard rumors. Is he gonna die? And then he shouts, Ben! And I'm like, oh crap, is he gonna die? Because the last time somebody shouted Ben, it was Luke in episode 4, and then Ben Kenobi died. And then he's on that bridge, I'm like, okay, he's on a bridge, subtext, I get it, he's vulnerable, and then Finn and Rey show up, and I'm like, okay, witnesses, he's not gonna make it out of this scene. That moment was just... it's really sad to look at the original trilogy now knowing that that is where he ends up. And there are fewer images that are sadder to me than Chewie piloting the Millennium Falcon on his own. Now who's flying solo? Oh man. Kylo is just a really cool blend of the old and the new. There are the obvious parallels with Darth Vader and even with Luke, but they're clearly putting a new spin on it, and I love that. And as a villain, I like that he's not just a large looming presence. If anything, he's more of a rival. This whole movie is about a new generation inheriting the torch from an older generation, which is why we have all these, you know, very sexy, attractive young people running around with lightsabers and blasters now. And speaking of sexy young people with lightsabers, holy crap, that bait and switch from the trailer. They were sure to show Finn wielding Luke's lightsaber in the trailers, and I thought, oh man, an ex-stormtrooper turned Jedi? That's really interesting. But then they turn it on its head, and I know people probably feel misguided by that, but I really liked that something happened in the movie that I didn't see coming. I mean, saw it coming, but not until I was sitting down actually watching the movie. The trailers didn't give that away. And even though he's not, as far as we know, a Jedi, I liked seeing Finn with the lightsaber. The lightsaber is, you know, the weapon of a Jedi. It's still a weapon, and pretty much anyone can use a weapon. It's like Obi-Wan using a blaster in episode 3. I do think it's kind of BS the hand waving they pulled with how Maz got Luke's lightsaber, though. Like, how'd you get that? Last I saw it, it was falling to the surface of a massive gas giant. Good question, I'll tell you later. But whatever, I trust they'll clear it up eventually. There's a lot of loose ends they intentionally left wide open, like the dicks they are. For example, who the heck is Rey? A lot of people thought that she and Kylo were gonna end up being the Solo twins from the expanded universe, but that's clearly not what happened. There's still new theories people are coming up with to support that, but I really don't like any of those theories, because most of them revolve around, you know, the Jedi mind wipe, and I didn't know that was a thing, but if it is, it sounds dumb. The other theory people are pointing to is that Rey is Luke's daughter, which I do see more evidence to support that, but I'm also not sure if I like that. She grabs his lightsaber and she has all these visions, and Maz says, you know, oh, it belonged to Anakin, then it belonged to Luke, and now it calls to you. When Rey comes to the Resistance base, that is when R2-D2 finally wakes up, so maybe he was sensing Skywalker DNA. I don't know, can asteroid droids do that? Rey is on a desert planet that isn't Tatooine, but might as well have been Tatooine. Very promising student of the Force like Anakin was, because even without training, she was able to resist Kylo, who does have training. That's a lot of points for the Rey Skywalker theory, but if they're gonna make it that obvious, why wouldn't they just tell us? The evidence is all there, but it makes such a strong case, it feels really unnecessary to withhold that information from us. Basically, if Rey is Luke's daughter and they're trying to keep that a secret, they're doing a crappy job. What I'm personally thinking for Rey is that she's no one's daughter, she's just a new, very promising Force-sensitive potential Jedi. And Luke might have been training her as part of the next generation of the Jedi Order. He saw how promising she was, and maybe that's why Ben Solo went to the dark side. He felt inadequate compared to her. He's the grandson of Darth Vader. He can't be shown up by some nobody, some scavenger. And I think if they were gonna reveal that Rey is Luke's daughter, it would have been in that scene where she and Kylo are on opposite sides of that trench. And I was just waiting for him to scream, Skywalker! But that didn't happen, so I'm assuming that's not the case. And can we just stop for a moment to address the fact that they made a third Death Star? A third Death Star? Like, they even lampshaded in the movie like, you know, oh, it's another Death Star. Oh, no, it's not. Yes, it is. It's a third Death Star. Congratulations, Star Tours is canon. And did we really need another super weapon in this? It's really hard to tell how much power the First Order has in this continuity. It seems like they're trying to set something up kind of like the Separatists in the Old Republic in the prequels, but it plays out more like the Rebels versus the Empire in the original trilogy. The Empire controlled pretty much everything, and that's how they found the time and resources to build not one, but two fully functional planet destroyers. So how is a group born from the ashes of that toppled regime able to make a super weapon that's even bigger and more powerful and more destructive than the Death Star? Just saying, I'm not really in love with the sun swallowing Pokeball from space. It doesn't change the fact that I really like this movie, it's just, you know, kind of I do like how this movie borrowed a lot of elements from A New Hope. Opening scene is basically the Empire boarding Leia's ship, only instead of Leia, you've got Poe, instead of R2, you've got BB-8, and instead of Vader, you've got Kylo. And then they have a Mos Eisley Cantina scene, they have a Mentor dies scene, and then they have an assault on the Death Star scene. We really did not need that. There are other ways to get a bunch of X-Wings blowing stuff up. Though I do appreciate that this one didn't end with just another trench run. It was kind of similar to how they blow up the Death Star in Return of the Jedi, but whatever. I guess I'm also not really digging Snoke right now. He's just kind of the new Emperor, and I'm not sure if I dig that. Though something that has occurred to me, and I seriously just thought of this 3 seconds ago, is the fact that his holographic projection is huge. I think that might be an intentional misdirection. I think when we finally do see Snoke in person, he's gonna be way smaller, like very small. Kind of like how Kylo Ren is a reverse Luke Skywalker, I think Snoke might be a dark side version of Yoda. But where Yoda saw that appearances can be deceiving, luminous beings are we, not this crude matter, yada yada yada, Snoke might be kind of insecure about how small he is. So yeah, this was kind of just a rambly, freeform discussion video. I had a lot of thoughts, some theories were developing, I figured I'd get them out there and see what other people thought. If you had any of your own theories or impressions or thought I might have missed anything, by all means let me know in the comments below. And while you guys do that, I'm gonna look at showtimes because I think I kind of want to see the movie again. Bye. Me and my friends are in a very crowded theater, and the lights go down, and everybody hushes, and up comes Long, Long Ago in a Galaxy Far, Far Away. And everyone understands that this is a very solemn occasion, except 2 or 3 little D-bags in the first couple rows who start singing the Imperial March when it comes up. Ba, 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 ba. That's not even the right song! What are you doing?